Hello, Dr. Cooper. This is Jed Davis. I'm going to do some of the stuff that you asked us to do on the video. Some of it, when you talked about custom sorting by managing or putting together just the columns and not merging entire tables. I have not I didn't pay for the AbleBits data yet, so I'm just going to use the combined data that you sent us for right now. But I was going to do some of the things that you had asked us to do. I know you asked us to delete the student ID, and you had also asked us to where it showed that they were matching or non-matching. Looks like you've already done that, so I don't need to delete that. You asked us to wrap the text in this first row, so I'm going to do that. I like putting it in the middle. And doing that makes it a little bit easier for me to read. And you had asked us to change some of these, so I'm going to change this to AR, DNM, like that. And then I'll pause the video and go ahead and do that for all of them. Okay, you can see that I've renamed all of them, and I like to center stuff up. It just makes it easier for me to see and to deal with. And also, anytime I'm dealing with stuff like this, I don't like my columns to be quite so big. I like it to be a little bit easier to see, especially since I've wrapped the text. Makes it easier. I've gone ahead and done that. The next thing I'm going to do is go to the gender column here, find and select. I'm going to replace the males with the 1. I'm going to replace all 1. And then I'm going to replace the females with a 2 and replace all 55 of those. I did that because that's what I'm going to look at, is how the gender and their scores, and see if there's actually any difference. So the next thing I'm going to do real quick is come here. I'm going to hide this like you'd asked us to do, just because there's some of this stuff I don't really need right now. Hide that. I don't need their name and all that right now. I can come back and look at that later. I really, for what I'm going to be doing, I really just want to kind of look at their gender and all of this. And so now I'm going to make a few different pages down here with some of this information. So once I got this, I made a few more pages down here. This is both of them combined, and then when I click the males, this is that same data, but only with the male students, and this is that data with only the female students. And how I got that, I did the sort and filter, I did custom sort, and I sorted it by the gender. Since I'd given it all a number, I was able to do that. And so that's what I'm going to start looking at now. So I found the averages of these scores, and now I'm going to find the standard deviation for those scores. So STDV equals okay, and then I'm going to go M2 all the way to M2042. So that's my standard deviation. And this, I'm just going to drag it because then it'll give me standard deviations for all those same things. So now you can see I did the average and the standard deviation for those 4 columns for males, and I'd already done it for females. I just wanted to show you that I knew how to do the standard deviation. So after doing all those other things, I paused the video for a minute, and what I did was I broke down that data by grade enrolled, and so I looked at all the males. That's the second males sheet that I made. This is just the third grade students that were enrolled in 1718. So you can see there are 452 of them because the first row is that. And I did the average. You see that average right there. And then I took the standard deviation. And the reason I looked at the raw score was because when I did the female or the males here, and then the females here, it was a 1 point difference, or roughly 1 point. And I just wanted to say, oh well, is there really any difference, statistical difference to that? And then you can see I did the formula for standard deviation, and then I did the t-test, just like you said. I went to formulas, I did functions, statistical functions, and that t-test here. Oh, and when I did that, I did the arrays by going in and including all of them. And I did that for that. For this one, I went to females, did the same thing, but I chose all of them. And then for tails, I did 2, top I did 3. And so I'm just quickly explaining that. This was my p-value that I got. And now you can see up here where I actually did it for all the males and the females. And you can see that the females only had 345 students, and the males had 452 students. So my probability was 0.01. So as I was thinking about what I've just done here, I think when I was looking at it, I forgot to tell you what my null hypothesis was. And when I look at the raw score here for males in third grade in 1718, I'm sorry, in 1819, fourth graders here, let's get those backwards. The average raw score was 22.015, or 22.02, and for males it was 23.26. And I know, in being in the education business, that if I saw a difference of 1, I would think, oh well, there's really no statistical difference in the raw scores between males and females in that grade for the 1819 school year. But when I did, and especially with standard deviation, this one was 7.14 and this was 7.01. I just thought, well, surely there's not a statistical difference. Well, my p-value was 0.01, so it was less than my 0.05%. So that means I would have to reject the null hypothesis, which means that there is a statistical difference in what males and females scored, their raw score was in the 1819 school year. I tell you, I'm really interested in this. I love data. I love being able to see this. This is the first time anybody's really taught me what standard deviation and how all of that works. Is the thing that I would be interested in, and I'll probably set up a time this week to talk to you about it, is how do you look at it without separating it by grades or things like that. Like, one of the things I was trying to do at the very beginning was, and you can see that I did it here, but I didn't really understand the numbers it was giving me. So I did, the average and the standard deviation for these, but this is for every grade. So it's for all those grades, third grade through eighth grade. And then I tried to do the t-test on it between males and females, and it gave me this number, which is so minute that doesn't even really make sense to me. And it's like, well, I'd really like to be able to compare all the grades, but is that even feasible? And is that even worthwhile? And I don't know. And that's why I'd like to talk to you about it. But I really did enjoy this. This is something that I can see being very beneficial to me as a school leader, because it will help me explain test scores, because the average person wouldn't understand why 1% or 5% does or doesn't make a difference statistically. And I think that would help me also as a superintendent one day to be able to explain to our school board and our community that, hey, I know there's, uh, the male scored this and the female scored this, or this junior high did this and this junior high did this, but here's why there is a statistical difference, or here's why there isn't one. And I think that'll be very beneficial.